Hello boys and girls, it's me, Mrs. Peta. So for today's lesson, we're going to be drawing a frog in a yoga pose, a mindful frog. And we're gonna do a light pencil sketch of this design. What we're gonna need is a blank paper, a pencil, and a good eraser in case we need to make some adjustments. So before we begin sketching, I want to remind you that when we sketch, we press very softly on our paper. Remember that idea of using the pencil to kind of tickle your skin, okay? So we're going to be using that same idea of drawing very, very lightly and applying light pressure on our paper. In order to make the frog, I need to think about the direction of my paper. If I want to draw a frog that's standing up, then I'm gonna need to position my paper the tall way. If I want my frog in a sitting position, I might need to rotate my paper so that I have room to draw across. My frog is gonna be standing up in its yoga pose, so my paper is in a vertical position. Also, in order to draw my frog, I'm gonna draw a few shapes that are gonna guide me to make the actual design of my frog. So my frog is basically gonna be drawn by drawing or creating a series of ovals and lines. So let's begin. I'm gonna start towards the top of my paper and I'm gonna make an oval shape, kind of like an elongated oval. This is gonna represent my frog's face. What I'm gonna do afterwards is I'm gonna add two smaller ovals towards the top of that first main oval that I made. Those eventually will become the eyes. Then I'm gonna make the frog's mouth. The frog's mouth is gonna look kind of like a long mustache. So I'm gonna start at the edge of one side of my oval. I'm gonna curve up and curve down and curl it around so it touches the end of the other oval. Afterwards, I'm gonna add almost like an echo line, a line that's almost following the same direction on top of that little mustache shape. And that's gonna be kind of like the frog's lips. Then I'm gonna add two small, tiny ovals that are filled in. That is gonna be the frog's nostrils. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to kind of keep the outline shape that I want. So I'm going to trace over a little bit darker around the actual frog's shape of the face. I think the bottom part of the face, I want it to be a little longer, so I'm gonna change the shape a little bit. I wanna make sure that the face looks balanced and symmetrical, right? And I wanna keep my proportions accurate. In other words, I wouldn't want the eyes to be much bigger than the shape of the face. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use my eraser and erase some of the lines that I don't want to keep. And later I'm gonna be coloring this and outlining it, so I'm not too worried about these pencil lines. Then I think inside the shape of the eyes, I'm gonna draw almost like a long oval that's cut in half. And that will eventually be the shape of the frog's eyelids. Where we have eyelids, we need to have eyelashes. So I'm gonna add some eyelashes right now that later on I will make more pronounced. Alrighty, now it's time to draw my froggy's body. In order to draw the body, I'm gonna add a long, thin oval right here. Kind of like this. Eventually I'll erase that intersecting line, but right now I'll just add it just so you guys can see what the shape of the oval looks like. So that's gonna be the frog's long body. Remember, my frog is standing up, so I don't know if you've ever caught a frog. I never have, because they're kind of a little gross to me, but my son Michael has. And I know that if you ever lift a frog, its body gets really long. Okay, so that is the frog's body. Now I'm gonna add like a less than sign and a greater than sign coming from the side of the body where the face meets the body to represent the frog's arms. And the arms are gonna be coming together at the center of the body. And this will eventually be the hands. Okay, so these are my guidelines for the arms. Now I'm going to make the legs. My frog, I think, is gonna be in a tree pose, which means that one leg is going to be holding its weight. The other leg is kind of going to be tucked in behind the standing or resting leg. So that's kind of the shape of the legs. Now I'm gonna go back and actually fill in the shape of the arms. And how I'm gonna be doing that is by adding basically an echo line, a line that kind of is going to mirror the shape I already made. I'm gonna curve the elbow. This here would be the elbow. I'm gonna make another line here to make the frog's arms a little fatter. Even though their arms are lean, I don't want to make a stick figure frog. And right here, I'm going to curve this part of the hand. And here would be the rest of the frog's hands. Okay, there we go. Now it's time for me to make the other part, the other arms. The other arm, not the other arms. I'm not drawing an octopus, just a frog. I'm gonna curve the elbow, make that echo line kind of a mirror image of the original line that I have. Here, my hands, curving the palm of the hand. This is gonna be the inside part of the arm. And now I'm gonna make the hands. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my eraser and lightly erase that line that I made, because I definitely don't need it anymore now that I have my froggy's arms. I think I'm also going to erase this line because I want my froggy to look a little more chunky. A nice fat round belly. Here are the arms. There we go. I'm just adjusting the size of the belly and kind of erasing around the lines that I don't want to keep. Here's kind of like the neck. Here are those arms. And here's the belly. Now it's time to focus on my frog's legs. So here's my first leg, the one that's standing. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make that echo line and mirror the shape of the existing leg, or the line that represents the leg. When I get to the bottom, I'm kind of gonna make almost like 3 lines, two that radiate out and one that goes towards the bottom, and then I'm going to draw around it, and that is going to be my frog's webbed feet. And these are going to be like the little tentacles that the frog uses to grip onto everything. Right now it's gripping onto the floor, because it's kind of like in a tree pose. And then I'm going to erase that guideline so you can see what the leg looks like. Oop, gotta fix that arm, I just noticed. And then I'm gonna go to this side. I'm gonna create now an echo line, which an echo line is just following along an existing line, almost like mirroring it. And now this is the frog's foot that's kind of in a resting position, and there's that little tentacle sticking out. I'm gonna curve this part in here. Connect the side of this leg to its belly. And I'm going to erase the guideline that I had in the middle. I'm going to take a moment now to kind of fine tune my frog, making sure that I like the lines that I have made so far. Still keeping in mind that I'm just drawing softly. Now I can erase this oval. Still think I want that belly to be a little bigger. I'm not quite satisfied with my frog's belly, so I think I'm gonna make it a little wider over here too. Maybe I'll make the curvature of the arm be a little lower. Gonna trace over the arms again. I think I want to bring those hands together just a little bit more. So as far as proportions, I think I want the frog's belly to be wider and fatter than the arms and the legs. Because I think frogs do have kind of chunky little legs. I mean, sorry, chunky little bellies and skinny little legs and arms. Okay, so that's generally what my frog shape is gonna be like. You can continue on your own, drawing and sketching the shape of your frog. And that's it for now.